Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Rodney, and good morning, Tracy.
Good
Good
And
morning.
good
morning.
morning to all of you out there. We are so glad you joined us this morning. Hey, AC, and hey, Carrie. We're glad to see you this morning. And I'm so excited. Hey, Robin, glad you joined us too. I am so
Mm-hmm.
excited
Mm-hmm.
about this program this morning because I've talked to Tracy about doing this for us for a while. This is some great presentation she's about to give us. Her
Yay.
Be Safe, yes, her Be Safe presentation. And y'all know she's got the
Mm-hmm.
chops to do this because she's a former FBI agent. She has access to all the stuff, and man, you're going to be really impressed with this and
That's
learn some
right.
things, I think.
That's an awesome
And I'm
thing.
so
So,
glad that we have some people on because there's questions along the way. So, of
mhm.
course, Nina, when I'm in presentation mode, I can't see anything except the presentation. It takes up my whole screen. So, you
Mhm.
jump in if anybody has answers. Normally, when I give this presentation, I have prizes like, chocolate bars or gift cards or something
All
like
right.
that. Can't do that today, but definitely you got bragging rights if you get the questions. So
There you
Mm-hmm.
go.
We're
And
gonna
if they get
celebrate.
the question, I'm going to be putting answers up on the screen as we go.
okay.
All right.
Ooh.
So let's get
All
right
right.
into it because I don't want to miss a bit of this. And I know it's long enough that you were a little concerned about getting through in
Yeah,
time.
this is
So,
this is going to be close to an hour, but I'm going to fly through it. So um, we'll see here, and I'm going to have to
Yep.
share it, and then I'll make it big.
okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Share
Yep. Yeah.
screen.
All right.
Okay, so you're going to have to let me know when you can see it.
Okay. Yep.
Do we
We
have
see
it?
something. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
I'm actually not seeing it.
Not
Uh-oh.
seeing it just yet. I see
Not yet.
we have our three little setups here.
Okay, so is that on your side, or do I need to do something?
Okay, let me see
I'm
what you got in your loader here. Let me see here.
Now,
What
let
do you
everybody know we
have?
practiced this ahead of
We did
time,
practice
so
this
we would
ahead of,
not have any problems.
but that was
Okay,
last
I'm looking
Wednesday.
for.
So,
Is there a name
now
to
last
your overlay or your?
Let's see if this will do it.
Okay, because it should be it. It should be parked. And everybody, good morning again. It's Monday. You're watching This Way Network. This is a chat session. Hi, Jacqueline says hello. Glad we're getting on. We all need this in the best possible way. Yes, of course, we all need our Monday kickoff here with our coffee and tea and different things.
and hi,
Yeah. Oh,
Elvira. It's
hey.
nice to have you with us today.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Awesome sauce. I see.
Ah, I'm seeing it now
Another
in the bottom. We're about to get it up, I think.
is
Here we
it
go.
okay?
Are you ready,
It's
See
coming.
Tracy?
it?
Did I add it to the stage? All right, here we go. There
Here
it
we
is.
go.
And I
All
hope
All
all of
right.
you
right.
can see that okay. Wow, this is great.
I apologize for that little hiccup there, but like I said, we did practice this, and
Hmm.
just no accounting. But anyway,
It's smooth.
um, this is Be Safe. And if you can see me,
Hmm.
I have my little bee on. And when I give people the Be Safe, the last one I gave was over 300 high school students, and they all got a little bee.
Hmm.
First question is, do you know what knee means? I have by Tracy L. Swayne, knee Baldwin. Does anyone know what knee means?
I don't
Knee.
think it's the one that bends in the middle of your leg, right?
No, that's not it. That's not it.
Don't know that
No.
one.
Doesn't it mean formerly?
This actually means maiden name. So
Gotcha.
when you see
Oh.
it written that way, a lot of times you'll see it in law enforcement
Mm.
articles. That's
Hmm.
the way we designate if someone has a maiden name versus their married
Mm.
name. So see, we already learned something.
There you go.
So this
Okay.
was the day I graduated from the FBI. Of course, That's from the Academy at Quantico. And I look a lot different now because that was 100 years ago. But the picture.
No.
And this is when you hear no pain, no gain. Look at those bruises on my arms. That was actually trying to get over a 6-foot wall. So it won. But I eventually got over it. But yeah, that was not fun.
That's tough.
Yeah. So let me just let you know the information is not foolproof that I'm going to tell you. There's no guarantee of personal safety, but these are tips for you. We want you to be, we don't want you to be a target, and we want you to get out of situations in a great way. So it's not meant to scare you. Okay. There's some things in here that are a little disturbing, but this is not meant to scare you. It's just make you more aware. So,
okay.
First thing is at home. When you go home, or if you are at home, take a moment this afternoon, or whenever you have time, and play bad guy and walk around your house and see what you see. What do you see through the windows? What do you see through the doors? Are there bushes that people can hide in when you come home? Curtains and shades, close them and then see what you see. Because a lot of times people are able to see shadows where you're moving around in the house, so they know what rooms you're in. So if you have a partner, have one person inside, have the other person go outside and test this. Find out what people can see inside your home.
Very smart.
Lighting is crucial. If you come down our house at night, it's lit up like a Christmas tree. We have dusk to dawn porch lights. We have, bless you. We have dusk to dawn lighting along the sidewalk, at the garage. Our house is lit. Now, when we look down the block, there's not many that are. So bad guys take the path of least resistance. So make your house not something that they'd want to go after. Hey, and if somebody has questions, holler and I'll stop and we'll hit those questions. So again, shrubs and bushes, are they tall enough that someone can hide behind them? You don't want that.
Right.
Also, stay in your car until your garage door goes down if you have a garage, and make sure there's nobody in there with you, because they can hide behind a bush and jump in the garage while the garage door is closing. Okay, so I put this on here because I've seen it so many times. Which one of these installations of a chain lock is the best? Is right? There's one right, there's one wrong. And why?
I'm thinking number 2 is the correct one.
That's
Because
right.
it looks to me like once you pull the door open, that chain is going to go right up that slide and number 1 pop out the top.
Nina wins the prize.
Yay!
Okay, so number 1, if you crack that door, you can put a pencil in there and slide that lock off.
That's right.
Oh,
and number
wow.
2, when you open the door, it tightens the chain. But I pulled this off the internet, so there's someone installing it wrong right now.
Yikes. That's right.
Excuse me. Okay, so who feels compelled to answer your doorbell?
Me.
My mother was the worst about this. If the doorbell rang, she felt like she had to go answer it. Well, guess what? If you're not expecting someone, don't answer it. We have cell phones these days. If it's super important, they'll leave a message on your cell, or they'll leave a note on your door. If you don't know who it is, or you're not expecting someone, don't answer it.
Tracy, one of the, I have to tell you, I have to jump in. One of the greatest things is the company, and not to do an endorsement for them, is Ring. And the fact is, when people ring your doorbell, at least you can get an eyeball. You don't have to say anything. You can see who is at your door. And if it's someone you don't know, you can heighten your sense of, I don't know who this person is. I need to be a little more careful. And that's a really, shout out to the company, because at least you can get a little preview. And of course, I'm sure you're probably working your way around to this. A lot of times, in addition to great lighting, is actually having some form of cameras as well that you can see.
Mhm.
But go ahead,
Right.
continue.
Okay, so the thing about Ring is, I don't know if you experience this because I have it,
Mm-hmm.
but when you need it, it doesn't work. You know, when you're pushing it to get that instant, like who's at my
Mm-hmm.
door, it doesn't work. So I just
Ooh,
want you to know, don't answer your door if you're not expecting
Mhm.
somebody.
that's
It's
right.
okay. So
That's
home
right.
invasions do happen. A lot of times the bad guys will have a child with them and the child
Mm-hmm.
will ring the doorbell. As soon as you crack
Ooh,
that door open, there's 5 guys in your house. So
ooh.
don't take the risk. And of course, we're talking
Right.
about different areas. You know, some cities have a higher crime rate than others, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, it never hurts to be safe. So
Right.
wherever you live, think about that. Do you have glass
Wow.
doors? They're
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, but that lets the bad guy look straight into your house. So
Mhm.
I'm a
Wow.
proponent of no glass doors. I think a solid door is great. So you have to
Mm.
weigh the safety against the beauty when you get to
Mhm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
What if somebody knocks on your door and says, "Police, open up"? And what I tell you is call 911, which will always go to your local area,
Mhm.
and
Mm-hmm.
ask why they're there. If someone's
Wow.
at your door, the dispatch will know that they're there.
That's
Um,
right.
a lot of bad guys can pose as anything they want to. So don't trust that someone is a police officer if they just say it. Call
Mm-hmm.
911 and ask them. Windows, make sure they're locked, even on the second floor. Bad
Mm-hmm.
guys know how to jump. So, you know, that picture I showed you at the beginning where I had all the bruises.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was my challenge. But a lot of bad guys don't have that challenge. So they can get over a lot of hurdles and get to the second floor.
Mhm.
Don't make it easy for them.
I
Mm-hmm.
have heard
And
of guys even bringing a ladder in
oh,
and taking
yeah,
it around to the back of the house. So yeah.
a lot of times they're so bold, they'll do it in the front of the house because if they
Mhm.
act like they belong there, nobody will question them. So your
Mhm.
neighbors could watch someone putting a ladder up against your house and not even say anything because they just assume you're having work done on your house.
Mm.
So always safety.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if anyone uses a hide a key, stop. They know what they look like too. You know, the cute little rocks and
Mhm.
putting it under your mat. That's a no-no. Leave it with a
Wow.
friend or a neighbor that you trust. Then someone has a key to your home.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get harassing phone calls, don't talk to them and don't, you know, just leave it open where they can call you back. Hang up and block the number. That's the beauty of cell phones now, is that
Mhm.
you
Mm-hmm.
can block that number, you'll never hear from them again. So I know there's even YouTube channels with people that goad them on, you know, for the harassing calls.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That, I mean, if you want to do that, hey, that's your thing, but you don't have to go through that. If you hear anyone saying anything that's not kind, you just hang up and block that number.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You know, Tracy, before you move on, there are so many, sadly, there are so many really evil people out there who call and prey upon, it doesn't matter the age, but they really prey upon the elderly. I
Yeah.
mean, can you speak about from a FBI perspective, what is done, to kind of help protect the elderly from these type of endangering type of calls and people, and what type of advice would you have?
Well, definitely not enough is done. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but they are definitely targeted. And the
Mhm.
best thing for the elderly is for family to care about them and to block the numbers for them if they see
Mhm.
any unknown
Mm-hmm.
numbers on their phone. You
Mhm.
can do that
Mm-hmm.
every other day. Just see if there are
Mm-hmm.
calls coming in and find out where they are as far as being able to make cognizant decisions, to be
Mm-hmm.
able to use a credit card because there's so many
Mm-hmm.
of these scammers that will say, you know, you're going to be taken to jail if you don't pay us $500 today.
That's
And
right. That's right.
so people take out their credit card, they give them the number. Y'all, they wouldn't do it if it didn't work. So we know that it's working for some people, or it'd be a waste of time.
That's
so just
right.
don't be one of those people.
Yeah, and let me point out, with AI being what it is today, I've even seen recently where someone is able to take someone's voice off a video off the internet,
Wow.
turn it into an AI phone call, and it sounds like your own grandchild calling you begging for help because you know they've had an accident and they need you to send them money because they lost their wallet or whatever. So yeah,
with you.
And the best thing to do there is ask them, what police department are you being held by, and call the police department yourself. Look it up.
That's right.
So you can always verify what people are trying to get you scammed. And if they ever say gift card, run away. That's number one flag that is a scammer. And if it's immediate, guess what? The IRS is not going to call you and tell you you're in arrears. They're going to send you letters, documentation.
That's right.
And no, you're not under arrest. So that's important too, is, they're getting a lot of people with that. We're coming to your door at 3:00 today if you don't pay this amount of money. There is no police department on the planet that operates that way. So
and they're not going to ask you to send it Cash App either. And you can pay this bill by Cash App. Or, and another crazy thing, Tracy, is they've been finding out that different online companies, Amazon, the big ones, they'll call, they say that they're very professional, and they'll say, oh, well, we need to verify your account. Can you give us your social security number to, and people, if you don't know, don't do it.
And I've had some very smart friends that have fallen for these scams. And if it doesn't, there's a thing called the bell, book, and candle test. So if it rings true, okay, that's the first one. That's the bell. The book, is it by the book? Is it the way they normally operate? And then the candle is it in the light of day?
Wow.
So if you said, I'm going to go talk to my FBI friend, I'll get right back with you. Watch them hang up.
Yeah.
They don't want law enforcement involved. So you can always reach me. I shouldn't say that on YouTube, but you can always reach me and ask me, send me an email. So the emails that I'm getting right now are, there's something at the post office. So they want me to click on a link. And also, what's that other one? Oh, e-sign. There's documents that are waiting for your signature. They want me to click a link. Yeah. So just be aware. If you're not expecting anything, don't do anything with it. Just delete it. And if you are expecting, this is something I do, is I call them and I say, you let me know the minute you send it and I'll be expecting it. So that's another layer of knowing the timing that you're actually talking to the person you're expecting.
I've been getting text messages that say your package is awaiting delivery, but you need to, but the address is incomplete or something like that. You need to click on this link to verify. Yeah.
I have
click on the link that says delete. Don't click on the link in the email.
Nina, I'm the worst because I'm sorry, I have to tell you, Tracy, and I quit doing it. But a couple of years back, I had this guy called me, and this guy was from, apparently he was from, I don't know where he was from, but he was way, because the phone service was so bad. And I know it had to be expensive for this guy to be calling me. And this guy was like, he needed to wire some money in my account. It was like all of this crazy stuff about how much money I was going to get. And so after I told somebody about it, they were like, no, dude, don't do that. So when I found out that there was a bad guy, me being an actor, oh my God. So me and this guy.
Go get him, Rodney.
Let me tell you, this guy, it was so bad. I was so crazy. He quit calling me because I was like, hey, man, where's my money at? And I'm going, listen, I told you now, I need you to send that money. And I had this whole crazy scenario where he needed to drop off the money, what street it was going to be. I was going to send a buddy to pick it up. And I told him, I said, now listen, my buddy has a problem. He has a little drinking problem. All the money's not going to be there. we're not going to be able to deposit all the money. And this guy, no, listen to me. I'm like, no. You need to listen to me because I'm working with you on this
I
thing.
love it. I love it.
And finally, this guy I burned this guy down for probably like a week. And he finally just quit calling me. He was like, this guy is crazier than I am. So anyway, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's great. Hey, one other thing I want to mention that's not in this presentation, I probably need to add it, is this romance scam. That's very popular. And a lot of the elderly are falling for that because they're lonely. And here they'll have someone that texts them 5 times a day and, oh, you're so beautiful and you're so wonderful. And they usually have a job like international jewel person,
or military.
Yeah.
So y'all use your common sense, see if it rings true of, is this possible? Like one of them, this girl that I know here locally, the guy was in his 40s. She's over 70. And he was telling her he's been waiting for her all her life. And she's so beautiful. Of course, she was putting pictures up with all kinds of filters, which made her look like she was 35.
Well, that's Nina and Tracy, both of you. It's okay. That can happen. I can understand. Go ahead.
But just be cautious. I think if everybody uses their common sense, they're going to get through a lot of this without a problem.
Tracy, I get friend requests on Facebook at least 3 or 4 a week.
What? No.
Yes, of men who come on and they look for my public posts and they comment in the comments. They say, "Oh, I've looked at all your stuff. You seem like such a nice person. I'd really love for us to be friends, but I'm too bashful to send you a friend request. Would you please send me one?"
Oh.
And then if you even bother, and I only bothered once to even go look at, well, who are you? So I looked at their account. You never see pictures of family up there, just them and their dog or them, but they're not even, it's not even them. They pulled the pictures off of somebody else's account, made a new account, gave it a fake name, sometimes gave it the same name.
Right.
And, but then you look at it and you realize, oh, wait. And this is the one I think that is key for really knowing, because sometimes you can be, that person looks familiar. Well, it probably is. It may be some semi-celebrity that you saw once a long time ago. But if you look and you see, when was this account created? Because usually it was in the last few months.
Wow.
And, you'd be a great investigator. Because that's what you look for. When was it created? How many friends do they have? Because most of the time it's like 10 or 20, and it's always women that are their friends. And then you look at even people who are not on social media a lot will have, whether they're married or not, and where their job is, or if they're retired.
Right.
They'll have something on there. These fake accounts, they don't even bother.
So, they're almost always widowed, according to
they wouldn't do it if it didn't work. So keep that in mind.
And I would warn you too, another way they prey on you, they're almost always widowed, or they're lonely out on an oil rig in the North Atlantic somewhere, or they're in the military. Because they know that pulls at people's hearts too. So
Right.
And Nina, Tracy, there's also this thing. I actually had a friend on Facebook that had said, "Hey, listen, I got locked out of my account. Can I send you something to let me back in?" And I was like, I called my friend right away. I was like, "Hey, what's the deal?" I said, "Are you setting up a new?" That's another thing. If someone sends you a friend request and you already know that they have a social media account, you need to contact them and say, "Hey, are you setting up a new account?" And I tell people all the time, I'm not setting up any new accounts. I'm too busy. I really don't live on social media anyway. But I said, but if you got someone trying to get have them or have you friend them, be very careful. Is that right, Tracy?
Absolutely. And take the time to reach out to your friends and ask. Facebook is not a replacement for one-on-one with your friends. And I know there's there's people that I'm friends with on Facebook that I probably don't even have their cell phone number. That's how I know them, is through Facebook interactions.
Mhm.
But message them in their real account and say, hey, I got this other account notice. And y'all take the time to report these to Facebook. You know, there's an option with the 3 dots, the little thing up in the corner on the right-hand side, where you can report it as a friend pretending to be a friend. And that helps them get these bad accounts off of Facebook. So take the time to do that. It only takes a minute. So, yeah.
That's helpful.
Right. Right.
Okay.
All right.
So when you're out and about, looky there, we just talked about it, social media. I want to strangle the people I know who say, I can't wait to go on vacation tomorrow. I'll be gone 2 weeks to the fabulous wherever. So you have just broadcast to the entire world that your house will be empty. So if a bad guy is looking, guess where he's going? To the empty house. So it's fine to save up all those pictures when you get home. Say you had a fabulous 2 weeks in wherever you were, but don't do it while your house is going to be empty. Please don't broadcast when you're away. Make sure that your papers are stopped. Well, we don't have papers anymore. The mail is stopped. Make sure that there's somebody checking your front porch, your neighbors. Hey, you have to go talk to your neighbors. Ask them to pick up any boxes that might pile up. That's the things that bad guys canvass neighborhoods and look for, is the empty houses. So I know there's a lot of the check-ins, like, you know, if there's a tornado and you're okay, that's if you're just doing a check-in that, yes, I'm okay, that's all right. But don't broadcast when you're leaving town. Please. Please.
Right.
There you go. We just talked about stop mail. When you're in stores and restaurants, find the exits and be aware. You know, these crazy people that go in and start shooting up the place. Know where your exits are and be ready to run. So it's not like you have to wear your tennis shoes every time you go out, but just be aware. If someone looks kind of weird, you know, if they're wearing a trench coat and it's 90 degrees outside, I'd probably take a walk to my car. Just on the off chance that he's got a gun under there. Now, I'm super heightened just because of what I've seen. So not everybody would do that. But I would take the time to say, oh, I'm just going to go to my car for a minute. So keep that in mind. When you return home, be cautious. Is there anything odd? Are any of your lights out that are normally on? Because you know, people can throw a rock or smash a light, get it off. If there's anything that looks out of place, call 911. That's what they're there for. You might have to take a few minutes before they get there because it's not an emergency call, but they're there to serve and protect. They're our friends. So they're not the bad guys' friends, and that's okay. But don't hesitate to call. And sometimes, all the time, you're going to find a non-emergency number, and you can call that one if that makes you more comfortable. And just say, I've come home I've been gone for 2 weeks, and my house doesn't look right. You know, the back door is ajar, or there's a window open that wasn't open before. That's evidence that there was someone in your home. And they may still be there. They may be squatting in your bedroom. So just be aware.
Yeah, someone just made a note, Tracy, that this law
That's my little
of squatting,
beehive.
this law of squatting.
So in your vehicle, what are you saying?
Ooh, okay. Go ahead. Can you hear me, Tracy?
I'm sorry, what?
I said someone just made a note that said they really need to change these squatting laws because there was something here in Southern California in Beverly Hills. There was some big, huge mansion that had been standing vacant, and they had like 20 people that were in this house. And and it was like, I understand the owner was going through something. There was something weird going on, but the whole thing is these people just like commandeered their property. And the weird thing was they said that they went and escorted those people out of this property. And it was like people didn't really even get arrested. And I was like, that is strange. What do you, I mean? Do
Well,
you
that's
think
going to
that
be in
they?
different cities.
Right,
Everybody's going to have a different. And if you
right,
don't like it, go to city council meetings and tell them you don't
hmm
like it. Let them change the
Mhm.
right,
laws. So
right.
yeah, um, I I know my neighbors, and we
Hmm.
watch out for each other when we're all on vacation. If my
Yeah.
neighbor leaves and I see a weird car parked in front of their house, I text them and let them know, hey, this is the car, this is the license plate. Are you expecting this person at your house? So
Tracy,
that's where
Tracy,
neighbors are
hmm
are great.
Tracy, do you think we really need to revive the community watch? Because when I grew up as a little boy in Long Beach, California, we had a block club, and
Mhm.
there was a block captain. Every quarter, they would meet at somebody's house and they would talk.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you came down Delta Avenue in Long Beach and you look crazy, I hate to tell you, it was profiling, yes, but it wasn't.
That
If
happens.
you, yeah, but if you look crazy and you were standing around and sitting in your car, our phone would ring and our neighbor would say, hey Fred, who's that dude sitting in that blue car outside your house? My dad's, what are you talking about? My dad cracked the
Yeah.
curtain, and all the guys would say, hey, let's take a walk. They would call each other. They said, in 5 minutes, let's take a walk. I mean, 5 minutes on the dot, all three of these guys would walk out.
Yeah.
And
I
they
think it's a great idea.
and they were, it was like the OK Corral, because everybody was loaded. Everybody was loaded. And soon the
The
car would
best
crank
part
up.
about that is that people
Yeah.
know each other. That's what the problem is nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
When I lived in Washington, D.C.,
Yep.
I was on the 12th floor of an apartment building. I did not know one neighbor in that hallway.
Mm,
It was all interior because it was a high
mm.
rise. Um,
Mhm.
I just kept thinking, what if the axe murderer is the guy next door? I don't know if I want to introduce myself to him. So
Mhm.
Ooh.
it goes kind of both ways. At that point, I didn't do that. Here in Alabama, where I live now, I
Mm.
know all my neighbors. And
Right.
that's
Mhm.
the great thing about Community Watch is that you know each other, you know who belongs in the neighborhood and who doesn't.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's awesome. But there's so many people now that won't take the time to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
at
Mhm.
least go out your front door, make a pan of brownies and go introduce yourself to your neighbor. If nothing
Yeah.
else you get out
Mhm.
of today, do that. So that'd be great. So
Yeah.
if you're around your vehicle, if there's a van parked next to you, just back away. It's not worth the risk. I do this today, even when I carry a gun, because I don't want to have to use it. So
Right.
I go in, if I'm at a mall or if I'm at a restaurant, I'll go in and ask if someone would please walk me to my car. It's okay to do that. People
Mhm.
Right.
don't mind helping you if you just ask. So vans are not good. That's usually where the bad guys are taking you somewhere. Um,
Mm.
if someone asks you for help with their car, this is the one place I would say don't help. Um, go somewhere, especially with cell phones now. Just call 911 for them,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because if they're up to no good, they don't want you to reach out to anybody. So as soon as you dial 911, they're probably going to get in the car and leave if it's a bad guy.
Smart.
Um, Also, you can say, oh, you know what, that police officer over there, and point. He can help you, and then go the other direction. You've
Mhm.
distracted him to look for that police officer. Now you're gone. So you're not his target. So it's
Mhm.
things like that that just give you that
Mm-hmm.
little edge to get away. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm on all my friends about this. Stay above half a tank of gas in your car. It's no
Mhm.
more
Mm-hmm.
expensive to stay at the top half than it is to stay at the bottom half.
Right.
And even when we had this bizarre ice storm that came through, there were
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
people that ran out of gas because they were low and they were going to go by,
Mhm.
when they went home from work. They never got there
Mm-hmm.
because of the ice storm, and they had to abandon their cars. So don't be
Mm-hmm.
one of those people. Just keep it when you're at half a tank, go fill up. So you keep it on the top half, not the bottom half, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Smart.
Mhm.
And then always lock your doors. Only
Mm-hmm.
unlock the driver door at a gas station. So,
Mm-hmm.
Rodney, I would ask you this. Have you ever heard of sliders?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've
Okay. I
seen
bet
that.
you have out there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, sliders, I'm just going to go ahead and run this video so you can start seeing it. Um, they're sneaky and they're quick. And when you're filling up your gas tank, they go to the passenger side and they help themselves to whatever you got there. And ladies, I know all of us at some time or another will put our purse in the passenger seat, and this guy's helping himself to it. Boom, he's gone. So this happens super fast. And, you know, you have that expression of the people, oh my gosh, somebody just stole my things. And then there's one here where they steal the car. So
wow,
it's super quick. It's so easy to avoid this. First of all, don't put your purse on the passenger seat. Put it on the floorboard so it's not in full view. And then secondly, lock all the doors except the driver's door where you're getting out. Then they can't open your door. So that's an easy one to not be a victim of, but a lot of people don't do that.
And if you leave your car to go in the convenience store, lock it.
Yeah.
Lock the whole car. Yeah.
These people that leave their car running outside the convenience store, I wish I had a stupid sign. You know, what was it? Bill Engvall, here's your sign. Just don't be a target. Take a second to do the right thing and lock up. So here again, your purse, keep it out of sight. Best place is under your driver's seat, you know, under your legs. If you're being followed, don't go home. Make extra turns. If somebody makes 2 turns with you, chances are they're following you. So that's a good way to test. Go to a fire station and sit on the horn. Unless it's a volunteer fire station, there's going to be somebody there. So even if it's wee hours of the morning, just sit on the horn. The guys will come out. You can tell them somebody was following me. I just wanted to be in a safe place. So, of course, don't pick up hitchhikers, please. That should go without saying, but he might be cute. She might look pretty, and they have a gun and they're going to kill you. So just don't do that. If it's a police stop and they put the flashers on, don't pull over. And I know you're going to say, what? But put your flashers on your car and slow down so the officer behind you knows that if it's an officer, they know you see them, and you look for a public, well-lit area. Okay. So you're looking for gas stations, busy stores. If it's several miles before you get there, call 911, because 911 will always go to your local dispatch and say, I have a police officer behind me. I don't know what I've done yet, but I'm trying to find a public, well-lit area. Then dispatch will let them know. And if we have time, I know this is going to be quick, but I have a story I want to tell you. When I was traveling from Texas to come to Alabama, I had my 4Runner filled where you couldn't even see through the back window. I had a bike rack on the back, and I had my little dog in the passenger seat with me. And I'm going through Mississippi, which is bum nowhere. These roads, it'll be 10 miles till you get to the next exit. And I see these 2 police officers under a bridge. And I thought, oh, they're coming after me. I got out-of-state plates. And sure enough, they did. I wasn't speeding, but they get behind me, turn the lights on. So I slowed down to like 40 on the freeway on 75, you know. And so, you know, it was a ways. Now, I didn't call 911. That was my mistake. I should have. But I took the first exit. I went to the gas station, and I pulled up straight in front, because you're looking for witnesses. You want other people to see what's happening to you. So I pulled up, and there's this little kid cop that comes over to the right-hand window, and he's like, we're the popo. You're supposed to stop when we put our lights on. And then this other police officer, older, more seasoned, he says, ma'am, you know, we did have our lights on, and we're trying to pull you over. And I said, sir, I'm looking for a well-lit public area. Now, I never said I was FBI. So that's off the table. I'm just Joe Schmo getting pulled over. And so they start fighting with each other. of saying, no, she should have pulled over. Actually, she did the right thing because this is safety, you know? So the guy over here, he says, can you see behind you? And I said, no, you got the lights so bright I can't see anything. Now, it was funny. I had this little Mickey Mouse shirt on too, which just is the topper for the whole situation. And so I get out of the car, I turned around. Their entire police department was in that convenience store parking lot. All of them with guns drawn, pointing at me because I didn't pull over. And I said, wow.
Wow.
I said, like, there were 20 cars in this parking lot. I said, what police department is this? And they told me what it was. And the officers start arguing. Well, I tell my wife not to pull over. She did the right thing. No, we're the police. She's supposed to pull over. So this officer over on my driver's window, well, I'm out of the car by now. He said, why don't you just go on and have a great day? He never got my driver's license. He never got my registration, never asked my name. And as I'm driving out of the parking lot, the cops are yelling at me, you did the right thing. I tell my wife to do that. So there's going to be a little bit of, you know, one school versus the other. But I would much rather be alive to tell the story than for me to pull over and it be a bad guy. So what I did wrong there was I didn't call 911 to tell them, I understand there are cops behind me, police officers is the nice way to say it. And I'm looking for a public well-lit area. That's all you need to say. So disabled vehicle, stay in your car, turn your flashers on and call 911 or wait for your service. If someone approaches your car and you're disabled on the side of the road, if you have to drive on your rims, you can replace property, and yeah, it'll cost you some money to get the rims replaced, but you'll be alive to talk about it. So because you know what, bad guys shop on Amazon too, and I just pulled these up real quick. These are flashing lights that look like police officers. You can get the bubble lights, or you can get they can put these in the grill of their car, and it'll look like an undercover car. So don't trust that those lights behind you are actually real police officers.
That's right.
Yeah. We have to be super safe, and they're not going to look, there's no judge on the planet that's going to be upset with you that you were looking out for your personal safety, no matter what the situation is.
That's right.
So be respectful, do what you can to make sure the police officers understand you're not trying to get away from them. You know, you're just trying to go to a safe, well-lit area. And like I said, call 911 and let them know what's happening, explain it, and everything will be fine. So again, stay off your phone. Bad guys are always looking for distracted targets. Don't drink and drive, and don't drive drowsy. Studies have shown that's just as bad as driving drunk. Really, it is. And if there's a fender bender, you have to decide if that was really an accident or if somebody's trying to get you to stop. So you've got to use your best judgment there. This is, excuse me. This is real important. I hope all of you take note of this, that this is my car, and you see the yellow line there. Whenever you stop your car, you should be able to see the tires of the car in front of you on the road. This works in any car, any vehicle, doesn't matter what you're in. If you can see the tires of the car in front of you, you can get around them. So you'll never be blocked in where somebody could do something bad. That's up to you. And with the first few times you do it, you'll feel like you're 3 miles away from that car in front of you, but you're really not. And of course, if there's somebody trying to make a right-hand turn and you're in the way, you might want to pull up a little bit for that one time. But I do this every time. When you stop, you see those tires on the road in front of you. That's really popular. I'm sorry,
the driving instructor who taught me how to drive told me to do this as well. But one of the things he said was that if you are any closer than that, then if a vehicle hits you from behind, even if you've got your brakes on, it will literally push you up and you'll hit the car in front of you. So now you really are stuck in between. And in some states, including the one I live in, if you end up hitting the car in front of you because somebody hit you, you're responsible for the damage to the car in front of you because they said,
daisy
well,
chain.
you were too close. Yeah, you were too close. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is a tough thing to get used to, but once you are, you'll never go up right on somebody's bumper again. And in the larger cities, they have gangs of people that do this. They'll look for people that they can bump. They'll make it your fault. And then they've got you cornered. And they look for nice cars and people who are dressed well or look like they're put together because they assume that they have money. And that's an easy way to get payments. So they'll get out and say, oh, my neck hurts so bad. So
also,
this
and
just
also
Tracy,
Tracy also too, a lot of times people are, if you're driving, always be aware, because there was video of this in LA. There was a on-ramp that kind of was a blind on-ramp that would lead you onto the freeway. And there were these guys that literally pinned, there was a car in front. They see a nice car, so they'll follow you. One car jump in front of you, one car jump in back of you. And when they get into a blind spot, the car up front stops. These dudes bail out of a car. And this guy had a choice. And I mean, he sees these guys are all masked up, and this guy just accelerates, rams the car in front of him and pushes it out of the way and just bails. And you literally see all these guys, because they didn't expect this guy to do that, but he rammed that car in front of him and accelerated, pushed the car 20, 30 feet, got off of it and went around it and left those guys standing in the dust.
Good.
And I mean, and I understand that these are, go ahead.
These are things you have to what if ahead of time. Because if you're in that situation, you'll get confused because you'll go, well, it's my nice car. You know what? When it's your life and you know that people are threatening your life, property doesn't mean anything. You smash that, use it as a bumper car and get yourself out of that situation. Yeah. Okay. So moving right along, we're going to talk about abductions here for just a minute. These are videos. There's no sound on these, but these are 5 abductions I wanted you to see. This is in a Dollar General. This guy's name is Craig Bonello. And in the top right corner of the screen, you're going to see a mom with her 13-year-old daughter. They're just shopping, right? No, nothing unusual. Dollar General, we all have them. And he saw something he liked and he wanted it. So he is dragging that 13-year-old girl out, and mama is not going to let go of her. And she fights for her daughter. Now, the daughter is not in a good position to fight herself because she's on the ground. So each of these I'm asking is a successful abduction. For this one, no, the mother fought back. And you have to fight. This is an older gentleman in a mall just leading this little boy off. Now, the mother noticed it right away. Maybe he's got dementia. Maybe the little boy looked like his grandson. We don't know. But he also could be a bad guy. Okay, so this kids were playing in a park alone. I don't know why. An unknown male took a child out of a stroller and started running down the sidewalk. So the brother and sister chased after him. And there again, you have to be willing to fight. So even these little kids, the sister screaming is what made the man drop the child in a vacant lot and run away. So he's at large. They still don't know who he is. Okay, this is a mobile phone store. There's a 4-year-old girl that's playing by the door. There's a little candy machine over there. Watch how fast this happens. Watch the door. Boom, child's gone. So, that's under a second that happened. And the guy's name's Terry Ransom. He was arrested and subdued by bystanders, and the child was returned to the mother. The interesting thing here is the mother said that she noticed this weird guy watching him, but she didn't think he'd follow them into the store. Don't assume that weird people will just go away. Okay, and this is Walmart. Donald Smith here's this little girl, and doesn't seem real concerning there. He walks off and she follows him. So see, he's not touching her.
Mm-hmm.
He said something to her that made her follow. So with this one, successful. Unfortunately, yes, this was a successful abduction. Cherish Periwinkle was 8 years old, abducted, assaulted, and killed. So you have to ask why. Okay, this is Donald Smith. He's sentenced to death. He was heard in court in December of 2023. So that's a very active case even now. That was just this last December.
Wow.
But I think I have
No
it here.
words.
Yeah. So why did Cherish follow him? So Smith had been out of prison for 3 weeks when he met Cherish's mother at a Dollar General, go figure, Dollar General, and offered to take her and her daughter shopping at Walmart. While there, Smith said he would get them food at McDonald's in the store. Smith went to get his to his van to get his wallet, and Cherish followed him and climbed into the van. So he took that as an opportunity. He didn't necessarily plan on it, but if she jumped in the van, okay, then I'll assault her and kill her. So other angles, food, puppies, bad guys will say, oh, I have these pretty puppies, come pet the puppies. And then a new one, not real new, but is that a bad guy will come up and say, oh, your mom's hurt, and she asked me if I'd come and help you, take you to her. I suggest strongly, if you have young children, ask a trusted friend that your kids don't know to test them. Put them in the park. Ask your friend to go say, oh, you know what? You don't see your mom because she's hurt and she asked me to come get you. So test your children. You can tell them all day long, don't talk to strangers, which, by the way, you want your children to talk to strangers if they're in trouble, because strangers are going to be the ones that help them. So, but you do want to test them to make sure they're not going to go into a car with puppies or, take any other kind of angle that these bad guys are trying to get your children.
Tracy, let me ask you this. I have friends that tell me what they teach their children is that grown-ups don't ask children for help. And therefore, if a grown-up approaches them and says, I've lost my puppy, can you help me find it? Their kids know, a grown-up wouldn't be asking a kid for help.
That's right.
Right. And I love that parents are teaching their children. What I'm saying is that you need to test your children, because they'll tell you all day, I know, Mom, I know I'm not supposed to go look at puppies. Okay, then have your friend say, we have a box full of kittens. Mom said, don't look at puppies. She didn't say anything about kittens. You see how kids don't transfer, and you can't possibly cover every scenario. So have your friends test your kids. It's always going to turn out good because they'll learn something from that.
Right.
So tips on this, it's okay to be mean.
Yeah.
If someone ever grabs your arm and tries to pull you, the instinct is to pull away, right? To just pull.
Right.
Most always men are going to be stronger than women. That's just a fact of how we're built. Take your own hand and pull your own hand as hard as you can and run. They can't hold on to you if you're pulling your own hand. So I wish I could show you a demonstration of that, because it really works. But keep that in mind. Just pull your own hand. Don't try to just, pull away from them. And fight. You're fighting for your life. Okay. Just for time's sake. Oh, goodness. I'm gonna skip this one. We're gonna go to good guys or bad guys. So I wouldn't show Nina this because I wanted her to play along.
Wow.
So which one's the bad guy? We're looking for the bad guy. Number 1 or number 2?
They both look bad to me.
Crazy.
Nina's do we have the audience? Does the audience think they know?
Don't know.
Well, Carrie says number 1 is the bad guy.
Is the bad
Crazy.
guy. Okay, here we go. Number 1's the judge. Number 2's the bad guy. Had 3 murders.
Wow.
Okay, so let's try this one.
Wow.
Good guy or bad guy? Who's our bad guy?
Mm.
Okay,
Don't
we're
know.
gonna go on.
AC says number 1.
Number 1's the bad guy. Martez Abram. He killed 2 Walmart managers. He was let go, and yeah, so horrible case. Good guy or bad guy? He looks friendly.
He looks like a good guy.
Yeah. Nope, he's an inmate.
Mm.
Good guy or bad guy? Look at those eyes.
He looks like he could be your son. You
Yeah.
know? Wow.
That's a mugshot from Idaho.
Mhm.
How about this guy? He's an actor. Rodney, you know,
He
they
does
come in
look
all
happy.
shapes and sizes.
Yeah, he's a character. He's got a character face.
Yeah. What about this guy? Good guy, bad guy? He looks like a model, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah, he's a this is from a mugshot.
I was going
in
to say that
Seminole
did look
County
like
in
it could be a
Florida.
mugshot. Yeah.
He should have been doing something different.
And our last one, good guy or bad guy?
Well, he looks friendly, but
He's a
does.
comedian.
yeah.
Nope, inmate.
Nope.
Okay.
She said no.
So the bottom line is you can't tell by what somebody looks like, right? Good guys, bad guys, they come in all shapes and sizes. You never know who's the bad guy. You hear that on the news. I've lived next to him for 20 years. I just can't imagine he had all those bodies in his basement. So yeah, you can't tell by what somebody looks like.
Right.
First, personal safety, and I know we got to run, so I'm gonna go fast. And you know what? Let me just ask you this: should we just stop and do it again another time?
You mean finish it?
Yeah.
You know, I think that would be a great idea because I don't want to be in a rush through this. I think this is far too important for this. So yes, will you come back and give us the second half? So,
Thank you,
so we're on personal safety. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing now. But yeah, I'd love to do that because I don't want to rush through this either because I want people to really know these are things that can help save your life.
Yeah.
So we're on personal safety. And I did stop sharing, I believe. So
yeah.
You did.
Oh, thank you, Carrie. I would love to come back. It's been a long time since I've seen y'all.
Tracy, that was fantastic. It really was very enlightening. And I mean, and when you don't think about these things in life, you really don't really know how vulnerable you can make yourself and how vulnerable your family is. And so you being a professional, having spent so many years in law enforcement, especially at the level, you have seen it all. You know it all from real hands-on crime to white collar and everything else. And so we're very blessed and thankful to have you on. And thank you again for your service, that you have served our country well. And I know that, you should have gotten a lot more accolades while doing it, but God bless you and thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, I so appreciate you letting me be on. And I give this presentation to groups of all sizes. Mostly it's women who are graduating high school, going into college, because I found a lot of high school girls are very protected by their parents. And then they get into the big bad world and they don't know what to do. And I'd like, I want to help prepare them. So that's primarily the groups. But, the last one was a whole high school. So we had
Tracy,
300 kids.
Tracy, what would you say? It's sad that our world is the way that it is, but there was recently a lady, a young college girl, and she just went for a jog, and she was jogging through some area and she was abducted. What would you say to women, men, youth, because there's a lot of people training for high school sports and things like that. What would you say about running in not well-lit places? You see?
Don't use your brain. Don't do that. There's too many opportunities where, I mean, if you're in a big city, take a metro to a park
Right.
that's well
Right.
lit and has police presence. There's
Right.
no excuse for that. Do
Mhm.
not go into a dark alley because, oh, well, that's on my running route. Well, change
Right.
your running route and
Right.
always go with your phone. Never go without your phone, and take your earbuds out. You can hear people approaching you where, you know, we put the
Right.
earbuds in and we're in our own little world. We don't see we don't see anything around us. So yeah, this is like, I wish that girl had been in one of my safety classes to really talk about this and say, part of this is your responsibility, not to make yourself a target. Look for those well-lit areas. Every city has a well-lit area that has police presence. Every one of them. I mean, yeah, it breaks my heart when I read these stories and I'm like, why would you do that? So yeah, I'm so sorry.
And it only takes one time of making a mistake like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You only have one life. It's valuable.
Yeah.
Protect it.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you for having me on. And I so look forward to scheduling the next part 2 of
Me too.
And the end of this, I told Nina this, the very end is drug awareness. So I want you all to be aware of street names of drugs and what to watch for and that kind of thing.
Next time.
So remember, you can't spot a bad guy. There's cute bad guys and there's ugly bad guys. So
yeah, that's right.
And there's cute good guys, and we've got one of them here. So
right.
Boo,
it's so great to see you guys.
Remember, I'm an actor.
Yeah.
Remember that.
You're a great one. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
God bless everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
We'll see you soon.
Wrap it up, Nina.